Hello, good afternoon, and a warm welcome to Newsroom Series. Today, I'm Olumide Macaulay. Thank you so much for joining us. Our focus is the Southwest region, but first we'll begin with the African Chiefs of Defense Summit, where at the African Chief of Defense Summit 2025 in Abuja, Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, stresses the importance of African-led security cooperation in addressing the continent's complex threats. He says shared intelligence, joint training, and coordinated action remains vital to achieving lasting security across Africa. General Musa also calls for greater investment in cyber defense, artificial intelligence, and indigenous military technology to keep pace with evolving global challenges. He explains that the summit provides a rare platform for African defense chiefs to unite in tackling pressing issues such as terrorism, transnational organized crime, piracy, and the impact of climate change on security. Reaffirming Nigeria's role in regional and continental stability, the defense chief highlights the country's continued contribution to peacekeeping missions, counter-terrorism operations, and humanitarian efforts.
Africa stands on the edge of unprecedented opportunity, driven by a vibrant youth population, vast resources, and a spirit of innovation. Yet, this promise is challenged by a complex and evolving spectrum of security threats. From the scourge of violent extremism and terrorism to the menace of transnational organized crime, piracy, and the insidious impacts of climate change on conflict, these challenges recognize no borders. This gathering offers us a rare opportunity to forge a unified front. It is a platform to harmonize our doctrines, strengthen interoperability, and build enduring trust among our defense institutions. We must therefore seize this opportunity to craft a new architecture of African-led security cooperation. As host nations, Nigeria is deeply committed to the ideals of regional stability and continental defense integration. Our armed forces have consistently contributed to peacekeeping operations, counter-terrorism efforts, and humanitarian missions across Africa. We believe that true security is not achieved in isolation. It is built through shared intelligence, joint training, and coordinated action. Nigeria stands ready to work with our brothers and sisters across the continent to develop frameworks that are proactive, resilient, and responsive to the realities of our time. Distinguished colleagues, the battlefield is evolving. The threats of today are no longer confined to conventional warfare. They are digital, asymmetric, and often invisible. The enemy is within. As chiefs of defense staff and heads of our armed forces, we must lead the charge in modernizing our forces, investing in cyber defense, artificial intelligence, and indigenous military technology, without which it will be difficult for us to achieve our security. The challenges before us are great, but so too is our resolve. Let us rise above division and embrace unity. Let us build a continent where our people can live free from fear and where our armed forces are symbols of stability, professionalism, and pride. Let us use this summit to explore how we can build a defense industrial base that is Africa in origin, Africa in design, and Africa in purpose.
Vice President Shatima insists that Africa cannot be left behind in dealing with protecting its people and assets, and efforts must be made to make good use of advancements in military technology while investing in cyber defense and artificial intelligence.
This is the moment to reassess our military objectives in the collective aspirations to make Africa safe. It is time to forge a new doctrine of continental defense, one rooted in trust, shared intelligence, and coordinated strategy. Nigeria's promise has always been simple and firm: to be a good neighbor and a brother's keeper in the struggle for peace. Our armed forces have stood shoulder to shoulder with our neighbors and far beyond in peacekeeping missions, counter-terrorism operations, and humanitarian endeavors. we hold no illusion. Security is the foundation upon which the edifice of progress must stand. That is why we must use this summit not merely as a meeting, but as a covenant to deepen cooperation through joint training, harmonized doctrines, and interoperable systems. For this to endure, we must build a framework where our defense institutions speak with one voice and act with one purpose. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the nature of warfare has evolved. The threats of today are asymmetric, digital, and often invisible. Our response must not be less dynamic. We must invest in cyber defense, artificial intelligence, and indigenous military innovation. Africa cannot remain merely a consumer of technology. We must be creators, innovators, and owners of the tools that secure our tomorrow.
Nigerian lawyer Joe Abba insists that Nigeria must strengthen its Code of Conduct Bureau to effectively tackle corruption and unexplained wealth as well. He made the point while speaking on Sunrise Daily on Channels Television. According to him, the Bureau's principle of presumption of guilty until proven innocent could serve as a powerful tool in curbing corruption, especially, or rather innocent until proven guilty, especially among politically exposed persons who often live above their means. He argues that if public officials are seen to own assets beyond their legitimate earnings, they should be compelled to prove the source of such wealth.
We have the Code of Conduct Bureau, which to my mind is actually grossly underused. And I say grossly underused because with organizations like EFCC and ICPC, they have the burden to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you've committed a corrupt act. With the Code of Conduct, the code actually presumes that you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. And I think we could actually use that a lot more. Use that to tackle unexplained wealth. And so when somebody is earning a particular amount and is, living in a mansion and driving a particular kind of car, the law actually presumes that they acquired that asset corruptly. That is, if you didn't have it before you came to government. So the law assumes that you acquired it correctly, and it is your responsibility to prove that you did it. And I think this is something that we can actually use a lot more. It will be faster. You don't have to drag things through the court for 10 years, as has been the case with some of our governors. Is it enough? It's never enough. Corruption is endemic in Nigeria. But I think the efforts can actually give people a sense that corruption is being seriously tackled. And if you look at the times that Nigeria has made improvements on the Corruption Perception Index, it has been when the politically exposed persons have been tackled, because the perception of the public is that everybody in political office is a thief. That's the perception that the public has. And so if you can show that actually you're not protecting this person because they are close to the president or because they have the status or the other status, then yeah, Nigerians will start to get a feel that perhaps something is now happening.
The governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Abiodun Yebanji, has warned members of the APC across local governments, that is the leaders, not to receive other governorship aspirants in the state. Governor Yebanji disclosed this during an event where he was presented the governorship nomination form of the APC by the Alumni Association of the Ekiti State University. The governor also vowed not to allow those who have not contributed to the growth of the party to reap benefits from the party.
If there is any party member in Ekiti State who will lend himself to supporting a cause, someone that took the party to court, to Supreme Court, I'm not sure there's any party member. So I still want to believe strongly that the people following these characters are not APC members. in fairness, I heard that they wanted to tour 3 times, they postponed it because they don't know where to start. Now they are planning to tour again. I want to see the local government. I want to see the local government chairman and the ward chairman that will open their door and office to this. Because the reason why I'm saying this for the first time is I'm sending signals to all our party members who keep saying that the governor is gentle. The governor has not given us, yes, I believe in peace. I believe in peace. I believe in peace. But I'm not going to allow anybody to take the APC platform for granted. You leave this platform to non-entities, to those that have no respect for party constitution, those who have no respect for party leaders, those who have no respect, for decency, we'll be setting a very dangerous precedent. That means anybody can wake up tomorrow, neglect you for 4 years, come here and procure the tickets. So we have a duty to ensure that this does not happen to us. Those of you on those platforms where they drag us and you are political appointee and you cannot see anything, I say shame on you. But a day of reckoning is coming. It's coming. Also a shift.
In their reaction, a group loyal to one of the aspirants warned the governor to desist from witch-hunting party members with security operatives and allow a free and fair primary election. They also asked the state government to come clean on what his administration has done with about 500 billion naira federal allocation received since he became governor of Ekiti State and the state's internally generated revenue.
We have that right as party members, as Ekiti people, to choose our preferred candidates or aspirants. We therefore use this medium to call on the Inspector General of Police, the AIG Zone 17, the Commissioner of Police in Ekiti State, and area commanders in Ekiti State to provide a level playing ground for all members of the APC to choose and follow their preferred aspirants preparatory to the APC gubernatorial primary elections. We equally plead with the leadership of the APC in Ekiti State to achieve partisanship and embrace all gubernatorial aspirants as one in the APC family. We also plead with our father, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the national leadership of our great party to caution Governor Biodo Yebanji against ordering the arrest, harassment, and maiming of APC members in the state.
The Independent National Electoral Commission will be deploying 3 machines each for 20 designated registration points for the 2025 in-person continuous voter registration program across Lagos State. The resident electoral commissioner, Professor Abayomi Salami, made this known at the commission's office in Lagos where the exercise was flagged. He says, though there were initial hiccups, that has been surmounted and therefore asked those concerned to seize the opportunity to register or update their information.
I need to say that this exercise will take place in 3 phases. We are in the first phase now. For the first phase, we have 21 designated locations. These are the 20 local government area offices as well as our state office here in Yaba. And for each local government area as at now, we have deployed at least minimum of 3 machines per local government. Where we have large population like Adimasho, we deploy at least 4. So we have adequate personnel and material machines to cope with the exercise for this current phase. The duration is from now, let me say it started from August 18th and is going to end by the end of August 2026. There were some initial delays which have been resolved and the exercise has taken up successfully. As you can see, people are registering at the background here and without any complaint.
Now, for further insight, a political analyst, Mr. Deyemi Saka, joins us live in our studios in Lagos. Welcome to Newsroom Series.
It's nice to be here.
It obviously begs the question, why is the continuous voter registration exercise crucial for the strengthening of democracy ahead of the 2027 general elections?
It's very simple and obvious because that gives room for inclusivity of people that were not captured at the last dispensation. And it's strengthening democracy because each demography of our population is, reflected. The political wills, yearnings, and aspiration is reflected at the end of the day at the new dispensation. But I would like it to know there were some people that were not up to 18 at the 2023 elections, and by the time you have an election that has, new people on board, you have a government representing the will and aspiration of people across board, either at the state level, at the state assembly level, or the federal level. So it's good for strengthening democracy because it gives the perspective of everybody's involved and everybody's interest is protected during the elections or after the elections, and the government or governance that will be offered at the end of the day.
This may have you to state the obvious, but why the big head start? Why now? Why so early?
Well, so early, and I guess it says continuous, so we probably expect it to be until maybe when INEC will probably want to shut down the window to tidy up the database towards the elections, come out with voter registration. It's not too early for me and for if anybody that loves Nigeria democracy. It's good enough and it's timely because what I would like it on 2023 till date is it's just 2 years, but it's not just a little time to overlook. People get older by the day. People get, we give birth to new people. People die. That's a sad reality we have to face. So we need to just do that to update our register.
Now, for first-time voters, how does CVR ensure that most eligible Nigerians, especially first-time voters, are included in the electoral process?
Well, I've seen INEC representatives, advertising or pushing good advertisement of the program and the policy, the ongoing process, and with the way they started, I think it will be easier for these young voters, those who call Gen Zs, to come on board because there's a bit of technology which they introduced in 2022. Because that was so. But for me, we still need to demand for more. Maybe in the course of the conversation, probably might speak to that fact why I believe as a person that INEC has been intellectually lazy since 2019.
Why?
Why? I remember in 2022, I had a similar conversation. I was on a platform that had Festus Okoye on the other side, then was the head of the voters' education. And I remember I said, why is INEC so much in this marriage of hardship with Nigerians? You probably will sit down in your room and you could sign up and open and I start putting an account with any digital bank. Why does INEC have to make it so cumbersome for me that I have to complete a phase of the registration, technologically, probably, remotely, and I have to go in person to some place to probably go register or complete the process? At that time, Festus Okoye said it's the law. And they have to work within the ambits of the law and what have you. But 4 years ago is enough time for INEC to demand change about the laws to make it seamless, to make it easier for people.
Isn't that what the online registration is about?
Oh,
INEC introduced.
But it's not complete because whether you like it or not, you still have to go to one polling unit or whatever to complete the registration and to get your card. It doesn't make sense in this.
So you don't finish the whole process
You
online?
should be able to finish the whole process online. And I would say this, I think it's ridiculous. If anybody could tell me, well, we don't have the connectivity, the coverage all over the country. If Bello Tuji can be uploading videos from the forest in Kebbi, Zamfara, whatever, and if they could remotely post, and this is not me being mischievous, if remotely they could post the video of the lynching and killing of Deborah in Sokoto real time, then we should be able to do this across the country.
But does that cover other areas where there is no coverage? You just
there's hardly no place in Nigeria except some parts of Taraba that is far-flung, that fluctuates between Cameroon and Nigeria. There's no place in Nigeria that you don't have at least one operator that has a service up there. I don't want to give them free adverts, but one will be working.
I hope. Obviously, it's a work in progress, and INEC.
So, but if INEC could, if INEC people have been clamoring for this since 2019. If INEC is not doing this in 2025, 6 years down the line, do you think people have confidence in INEC to do this the next 10 years?
And the funding is there?
The funding is, I think I've never heard INEC complain of lack of funds. I've never heard INEC complain, and every president has been so generous with INEC when it comes to conduct of elections. They don't, well, on paper, I've never seen INEC crying for funds.
Okay, so let's look at this matter of updating voter information. How does that help to reduce errors for election day?
Well, it's a lot of people have been doing that since 2003. And on election days, you still find that the errors are still there. I think we need to, yes, INEC might not be for sensitivity and for a lot of reasons, might not want us to know the back end or the database management in place, you know, but I think they still need to do more. I think it still boils down to everything should just be seamless. If I can update my data, everything, biometrics and what have you, come with my home, I can always go there to, people move from one state to the other. People change residence even within the states. If I can do that, and there are some parts of, let's use Lagos for example, as an example. There are some parts of Lagos that you think are in Lagos, but you're in Ogun State. Well, Ojodo Abiodun is an instance. Or in Ojodo Abiodun, find some parts of the right side of the left side of the street is Lagos, the right side is Ogun.
Okay.
So you need to, but you know, these are things that you can be able to address on your own. You get informed or prepared or educated ahead of time, and you probably know what to do about it. Okay. And you can still get all this thing done in the comfort of your room, rather than you do it somewhere. You probably need to go to it for local government, because Ojodo Abiodun is under for local government. Yeah. To go tidy up your registration while you reside in Lagos geographically, technically.
Yes, that's just one of the many things that need to be sorted out. Thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate coming on Newsroom Series.
It's nice to be here.
Mr. Adeyemi Saka is a political analyst who joined us live in Lagos. Yeah. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Now, the First Lady of Lagos State and Chairman Committee of the Wives of Lagos State Officials, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, has declared that widows must no longer be left behind in society. She stressed that COSO is determined to provide them with the tools to live a meaningful life and be financially independent. She made the comment at the Arise and Shine Widows and Children Empowerment Program in Ikeja.
Lagos House Alausa Ikeja Car Park is the venue for the Women and Children Empowerment Program. The selected group has come to receive support from the Committee of Wives of Lagos State officials to help them become financially stable. The wife of the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, joins them for the program. The initiative is part of activities to mark the 25th anniversary of the National Women Conference, which aligns with the Sustainable Development Goal 1 and 2, eradicating poverty and hunger.
This is more than an initiative. It is an act of love, compassion, and solidarity. It reminds us that when we reach out to lift others, we also rise together.
Empowering the vulnerable group is crucial to strengthen lives, families, and communities at large, a message echoed by some of the speakers.
These programs reflect our conviction that widowhood should never be a life sentence of poverty, despair, or marginalization. Instead, it should be an opportunity for renewal and growth when the right supports systems are in place.
Some of the widows share their story and how they're coping with the hand they have been dealt with.
March 7, 2019. It was a Thursday. My husband went to work and never returned. It was the FRSC official that called me and asked who I was to him. I think by the virtue of how he saved my name on his phone, they were able to deduce that I was the wife. So they told me that he just had an accident, that I should start going to General Hospital in Ifo local government.
The widows also receive advice on how to process their husband's entitlement.
It's important that you have in your custody the death certificates. That is very, very important, because without it, you can't process so many things. Some even have insurance payouts that are due to them. Without it, you can't.
Some have benefits that you can process at work. Without the death certificate, you will not be able to. So please let us know this and speak out.
The wife of the Lagos State Governor, who is also chairman of Council, says the initiative is not just to offer temporary support to them, but to encourage women to stand firm and take charge of their finances.
This holistic approach further exemplifies the saying that give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Our goal through this project is to support these widows with business support and skills employment, and encourage them through this forum to take charge of their finances and build a greater future for themselves.
The Committee of Wives of Lagos State officials is hopeful that these widows selected from the 5 divisions of the state will also be supported by others by safeguarding the future of their children and reinforcing social cohesion in society.
Finally, about 500 women from the 3 senatorial districts of Ogun State benefit from the distribution of empowerment items by the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, through her Renewed Hope initiative.
Across the nation, this program is equipping women to be not only contributors to household food security, but also key players in the agricultural value chain, thereby promoting self-reliance and sustainability. Alongside agriculture, the RHI has advanced financial empowerment through various grants and soft cash interventions that enable women to start and scale up small and medium-scale businesses. By providing direct financial support, the initiative has not only reduced poverty in thousands of households, but also boosted women's capacity to participate actively in the economy. In Ogun State and other parts of the Federation, women leaders, artisans, and entrepreneurs are already reaping the benefits of these interventions, turning small ideas into big business.
And that's it on Newsroom Series today. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Mukold.